Wow, that was fun. 7 sixes and a stunning 76 from Shafin Rutherford at his soon-to-be IPL home ground has given the West Indies 196 for 6 after England put them in. It's half-time. Let's see who stands ahead on ESPN Cricket for timeout in the fine company of G-Stats and Varun. Thank you for waiting for me. Being a little late today. And Nick Knight is with us as well. Why don't I ask Nick first what he makes of that innings? In fact, Nick needs a moment to just get his thoughts together, because the way Rutherford finished, I don't know, that seems like a heck of an innings, Varun, and maybe the West Indies are in front. Are they?
I think this is just about a pass score on this wicket. Really good wicket. I thought Adil Rashid was brilliant to get through those 4 overs for hardly anything, getting a couple of wickets as well. Jofra Archer, again, very, very expensive, but Rutherford, what an innings by him. Not just by him, actually, the entire West Indies middle order really chipped in, especially that last blitz by Jason Holder at the end.
G-Stats, story of that innings?
Yeah, I think this is a very typical Wankhede wicket which we've seen all these years in the IPL. The kind of runs for the taking is pretty good here. Rutherford kind of paced his innings well. I think that's been a story of Rutherford over the last 6 months or so. Wherever he's gone and played, remember he had a rut coming into about 3 months ago, and then he's been smoking it everywhere. So he paced his innings very well. He made sure he attacked the bowlers whom he really knew that he could target. He was pretty conservative with Adil Rashid, so was everybody else, but he knew that he was the best bowler, and I think he paced his innings really well.
Nick, give me your thoughts on that.
Clever, Rutherford, really clever. I thought the way he navigated through that innings was brilliant. Didn't really go at Rashid until right at the end. The power of the West Indies middle order, if he doesn't get you, someone else will. They keep coming at you. If Rashid hadn't bowled well, I fear for England. I think it's about par, maybe just under, actually. I think it's the best of the wickets I've seen there in Mumbai. I've worked on 2 of them. This one's coming on a little bit more.
Yeah, and if you have to go by the evidence of due, which you're waiting for, how good was Ian Bishop sliding down on the ground, Nick?
You know what, Raunak? I was thinking to myself, I've played against him for the Test match. The amount of times he's put us batters where he was on their bum down the ground, thinking about getting back up. I was thinking, there we go. That's the first time I've seen Bish, and then Nash nailed it in commentary. He's going to have to come back up in instalments. But yeah, what a bowler! What a great moment.
Well done to Ian Bishop. But it does seem like one of those days. That whole how heavy is due at 7 o'clock games going to be in Mumbai this time of year. This looks like the first game where it might have a role. That being said, Adil Rashid was getting it to turn. Even in the 18th over of the innings, what does that tell us?
It was just sheer skill to slow it down that much and to get revs on it. It's not easy at all. People think that you might just bowl slow and it'll turn. It doesn't work like that. To slow everything down and to put revs on it is very difficult. So Adil Rashid is a magician, according to me. He's one of the best leg spinners in the T20 format in all time. And I thought that it was not just the conditions, but Adil Rashid's genius as well.
I mean, Nepal took him down, so I'm sure he didn't under.
Everybody can have a bad day. That was his first wicketless game in 25 games.
Yeah. Anything in particular about Rashid that stands out, and what's otherwise an impressive T20 player which we know?
Yeah, I think Varun kind of nailed it. The pace variation. In fact, he did try this the other day, but his line was a bit off, and today he kind of pitched it perfectly. And I think he caught a lot of West Indies players napping in terms of whether to go front or go back, and they were not able to figure out. They were always playing for the googly, and I think he capitalized on that. I think it's a top effort. That is where I thought Rutherford is one of the few players who will actually take him down over extra cover, but I think he respected him for his spell today, and kudos to Rashid. He's top-notch bowler.
It's incredible, Nick. You go through that bowling card, economy rates of 12, 12, 16, 8.5, 9, and then there's Adil Rashid, 2 for 16 going at 4.
Watching him live here in my hotel room, I was thinking that he's actually bowling a little quicker than he normally does. He doesn't have a great record. He has a good record, not a great record. You start wondering why. I think because he likes to bowl slowly. He prefers to bowl slowly. He gets more turn when he bowls slowly. I think to start with, he bowled a bit quicker to get into his spell. And then when he felt comfortable, he went back to bowling slower. And that's when you see sort of really big turning leg spinners. That was because he was bowling a little slower. That's where he's at his most comfortable. But I thought he got into his spell really quickly and really well today.
Anything that England could have done to limit the damage that Rutherford and even Jason Holder did? It seemed like, barring Rashid, they were unable to control things. Could they have controlled more, looking at the conditions?
Again, they're heavily relying on Jofra Archer. Sam Curran came good the previous game, but Jofra Archer is the leader of the pace attack. I'm sure England would expect more of him. Jamie Overton bowled really well today, but Jofra Archer just wasn't able to nail his Yorkers. Was a bit unlucky there with Adil Rashid, where he could have taken that catch. But all in all, I thought Archer could maybe execute better, and also with the new ball, that delivery of Archer, which used to come back in sharply with the new ball, has been missing ever since he's gotten back from injury.
Is Archer at the peak of his powers? Where is he right now at his game from what we're seeing? I'll ask Nick that as well, but from what you're following, the great fast bowlers, T20 career so far?
Actually his arc, if you see, power play was always his specialty. I don't think death was his specialty. He started off being a Yorker bowler, but over the course of time, even if you see the numbers, the way it pans out, he's a hardcore power play wicket taker, and he's won matches for England or for his franchise in the power play. That is something I see missing. He tries to hit top of off, and he tries to hit that length, but off late he's kind of giving a lot of boundary balls. And from in the death, I wouldn't really judge him too much, because he's obviously going to try for those Yorkers and bumpers, but that's not really working out well for him. And nobody's really scared of these express pace bowlers anymore. I think they kind of 140 plus used to be a very, very exciting skill, and every team had that as an X factor. But nowadays, I think the pace, the smaller grounds, bigger bats, you just have to use the pace of the ball, and they're getting hit quite a lot.
Why do you think I'm commentating with you guys?
Okay, on a very serious note, he's still an all-format bowler, right, Jofra Archer? That's the big debate on Archer, right? Is one format to the next going to affect what some fans would think the priority should have been this T20 World Cup if you want Archer? Some others would think it was the Ashes. Where's Archer's game right now, Nick Knight?
I think that's a distraction. Honestly, I do, Raunak. I mean, he's good enough to play all of them well. I mean, the guys make good. The one thing I would say is when we watched him a year ago, remember that 5 matches? Ran in, tried to bowl as quick as he could, got Mark Wood at the end, tried to almost players out rather than bowl at the stump, bowl at the This time, he's actually trying to bowl at the stumps, he's trying to bowl fuller, he's trying to do the things that I think are more helpful to him being successful. He just hasn't quite managed to do it as well as he'd want. So he's a bit stuck betwixt and between, but I actually think he's trying to do the right thing this time as opposed to a year or so ago. At the end, though, he's just not nailing it, because as Varun and the guys say, it is a bit of a concern for him. If England to win this World Cup, they've got a long way to go before they do. If they do, it's the fact that Archer's going to have to somewhere near.
Yep, fair enough. All right, let's get quick predictions. Buttler and Salt are out there, and wonder if the West Indies spinners will be able to cause the same trouble that Adil Rashid did. We've mentioned the point of view. Nick, how do you see this game going? What's going to be the key phase that decides it?
Well, the key, Raunak, is if they open with Akil, I would open with Akil, Salt and Buttler. Whether they do or not,
I can just tell you, yes, it is Akil, I think, who's got ball in hand. So you can carry on now. I think he is going to bowl the first.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good idea. They've got finger spinners. I think it's in England's hands here. They bat deep, they bat long, they pick over the batter or batting strength. England's game if they play really well.
All right. Well, you can see Akil Hussain's matchups favourable against England's top order. Generally, very good record for the left-arm spinner against England. GS, what else do we need to look out for?
No, I think it's how they play, how Moti also kind of controls the middle overs, going to be important. England are going to go all out attacking, because this one thing about this venue is you don't need to do that. You can actually catch up a lot in the death. Even 60 of the last 4-5 is very much doable here. We've seen that on numerous occasions. I think England should get over the line if they just kind of play normal cricket.
Okay, so England for Nick Knight, England for GS just normally, because of how hard it is to defend at the Wankhede. Varun?
I'm going to go West Indies.
Yeah, come on.
100%. I think, but it all rests on Shemar Joseph. If Shemar Joseph has a good game, West Indies are winning.
Okay, with a rider, Shemar Joseph has to perform. We've had a double super over, so I'm not asking for anything else now for some time, right? We're going to leave it there. First ball of the innings has crashed for 4, so it looks like England are on the charge already. Thank you, Varun, GS. Nick Knight, let's pick up the chat at the end of this game. 2 precious points are up for grabs. Let's see who picks it up in this group. Remember, it's a very interesting group because Nepal are going to have a big say over the next week or so. So 2 big points for England and the West Indies. Post-match analysis on ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Join us then.